Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal. Welcome back to another weight loss video. Let's dive right in. We're hungrier after losing weight. Article shows how people who lose weight are more hungry than people the same weight who haven't lost weight. This is really demotivating me. Any advice, please? This is the article. It says the main reason you feel hungrier is because your body released the hormone ghrelin, which makes you feel hungrier. This is really unfair. When I reach my goal weight, I want to feel the same levels of hunger that someone else with my same height and weight who hasn't had to lose weight is feeling. The article does say there are ways to make the hunger more stable. It may take months, 6 or more, of consistent daily exercise combined with a mild calorie restriction, decreasing 200 to 300 calories per day to reach a lower hormonal set point. Can post-weight loss people please chime in and tell how their hunger levels are and if they have to fight hunger every day? I think when you do a slow and gradual weight loss, the best kind, it won't be a problem because you have literally done the article's recommendation of a slight deficit and it'll be several months so you get used to it. Other things to consider are, hunger is often tied to your stomach size. When I was tiny, I could eat only one scrambled egg and was full. Then as I got bigger in my early 20s, I'd do 2 eggs but couldn't finish it. Then I'd push myself to finish my plate. Why did I do this? And after a while, my satisfaction level was 2 eggs and eventually it became 3. That was me at my largest. One day I realized there's no need for me to eat this much. Like, my body survived fine on 1. 2 is okay too, but I don't need 3. As I dieted, I slowly had less. I'd make 3 but didn't force myself to finish the plate, and I'd stop eating when I was full, gradually reducing portions. I'm now at 1.5 eggs and I legit can't eat 2 and don't feel hungry at all. Basically, if you slowly and gradually reduce portion sizes, you won't be hungry. Emphasis on listening to your body and not going extreme. Like when I was eating 3 eggs, I would just leave 1 spoon left on the plate. 1 spoon is not make or break or fully satisfied or starving. Also, a lot of times things can be mental as well. If you use food as an emotional crutch, many of us do, you might feel like you're starving, but you're actually not. You're emotional and seeking comfort from food. The big key is to notice the difference between real hunger and emotional hunger. Real hunger comes on slowly and gradually, can wait and delay a meal. If you're starving because you're genuinely hungry, you will eat anything, not a picky eater. You could be craving pasta, but you're fine with having a sandwich and a salad. Emotional hunger comes on randomly and strong, can't delay, feel like you must eat right now, and usually a specific craving food, whatever your favorite is, like I must have sweets, must have cake, or I must have a bag of chips, I need pasta. If you feel like you're suddenly starving and must have cake, but turn off by having a sandwich, aka you think gross, I don't want that, then you're not actually hungry. Note from Luke Narwhal, please see a doctor before doing any weight loss plan or if you think you could have an ED. Don't worry about it too much. These metabolic adaptations are a very normal reaction by your body in order to heal after what it thought was a shortage in food. Dieting causes not just hormonal, but also psychological stress. That's also a reason why less aggressive diets are more successful in the long run. How can we ensure now that we keep the weight off? The answer is a dedicated maintenance diet. Ghrelin levels can stay elevated for half a year or longer after finishing your diet. In order to get it back to normal levels, you need to give it time. A good rule of thumb is taking a dedicated maintenance phase after the diet, where you slowly add calories week by week, which lasts 80% of the time you spent in a caloric deficit, and make sure to reduce hyperpalatable foods to a minimum, in the first half of the maintenance phase at least. This way, all of your diet fatigue, psychological and metabolic adaptations can drop, and you'll be able to keep the weight off. I used to weigh 300 pounds. I couldn't imagine not being hungry back then. Back then, hunger was just a fact of life. I can tell you anecdotally from my own experience that right now at 150 pounds, as a frequent gym attendee and mostly clean eater, I have days where I'm so not hungry that I actually have to suck it up and just take in the protein because my body needs it if I'm going to maintain and or build more lean mass. I have days where I have no appetite at all. If you're worried about being hungry all the time because of some article, just don't worry about it until you've hit a healthy weight. In my experience, and the experience of many others I've talked with along my weight loss journey, is any indicator, the hunger does work itself out. What's the key? Exercise and protein intake. If all you're doing to lose weight is eating a major deficit and running all the time, of course you're going to be starving and fatigued. Here's something I wish somebody told me back when I kept yo-yoing, losing weight and gaining it back because I wasn't doing the right stuff. Long, steady state cardio sessions will make you super hungry and super tired, and they're not necessary at all if you don't plan on being a marathon runner. Weightlifting is a natural hunger suppressant, and protein is a natural hunger suppressant. Do these two things and your hunger will be thoroughly suppressed. Beyond that, make sure you're eating enough, because eating enough is just as important in weight loss as eating in a deficit. Too high of a deficit and your body isn't going to want to cooperate, and your body needs fuel. Being hungry is not something to fear. Hunger is our natural state. Not too long ago, we were hunter-gatherers and there was no high-calorie processed food available in periodic intervals. Hunger could be a marker when our body needs some nutrition, but what if I said it really comes down to levels of hormones in your body, whether you're hungry or not? Simplifying a bit here, but feeling hungry or full comes down to two hormones. Ghrelins are appetite increasers and leptins are decreasers. If we understand the biology of hunger, it's easier to accept it as what it is, just a hormonal response. You can lose your sense of hunger by not eating. Understanding that hunger is just a play on hormones makes it less of an enemy and more of a minor obstacle. You get hungry around the times you most usually eat. That's it. You can eradicate the feeling quite easily, and more importantly, you can ignore it, or even more so, incorporate it to your daily routine. It's just a signal, nothing more. So challenge it. Eat at random times, not on a fixed routine. The feeling of being hungry passes after some time, and the more you practice ignoring it and eating when you feel like, and not when your body tells you, the more normal it will become to be hungry for long periods of time without getting hangry or annoyed by it. Intermittent fasting helps manage this feeling. If you don't eat for 10 to 16 hours, your body will go to its fat stores for energy, and fatty acids called ketones will be released into the bloodstream. It's helpful to eat and not eat for periods, going between anabolic and ketosis. It keeps your body going through the reserves. Fasting won't make you starve. You might feel hungry, but there's a lot of difference between being hungry and starving, although many people use both expressions interchangeably. By changing your mindset, you can let go of the anxiety about feeling hungry. Note from Luke Narwhal, please see a doctor before attempting any fasting, any weight loss plan. I tried to find the original research article, but got too lazy and couldn't. The way WebMD describes it, there's only 35 obese people in the research. That's an extremely small number of people to be making such conclusions on. Also, the way the article describes it, but maybe the research paper would say different, they didn't follow non-obese people for the same time period to compare the outcomes between the two. So the conclusion about compared to healthy folks is a supposition. Never ever buy into the findings of a single study. Now, it doesn't mean the research is wrong. They could very well be on point with other people who have done similar research. For health, look for summaries of the research called meta-analysis. Systematic reviews are okay with no analysis, but still subject to a load of opinion-based interpretation. Everyone has ghrelin. You'll find a bunch of folks on here that will tell you they don't feel as hungry anymore. I would have been one of those people until I had a wicked attack of the hungers this week. Got some good advice here and realized my nutrition that week put me very low on iron. Upped my iron the same day via food and felt great since. Didn't blow my plan out the water, just managed it when the feeling came up and came here for the help. Also, remember that the results of research are not a permanent doom statement. Work like that is done always with the view in mind of, okay, we found a problem, so how do we help, improve, and fix this? Kind of. As you lose weight, your basal metabolic rate lowers, which means that you need a smaller amount of calories to maintain your current weight. So if you start at 135 kilograms, your BMR might be 2,500 to maintain that weight. If you quickly drop to 80 kilograms, you need much less to maintain. So if you don't stop to check what you need to maintain, it's easy to eat the same and start putting the weight back on. I've found as I lose weight, I've been eating low-calorie dense foods or high-volume low-calorie foods, which seems to be making my appetite smaller. I feel fuller a lot quicker now. Honestly, what works for me is to count calories. I can see my daily budget, and if it's looking like I'm feeling hungrier than I would expect with the calories I've had so far, I make food choices that involve foods that will fill my stomach by volume, but have a small amount of calories. You have to find a way of living and eating that you enjoy and maintain long-term, or it will never stick. And that brings us to the end of the video. Once again, please see a doctor or any healthcare professional before attempting any weight loss plan. Don't just trust an anecdote on the internet. And that brings us to the featured narwhal of the day. Haven't checked in a while. 93 pounds down, y'all. Thanks for everything over the last 2 years.